Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today for a threat briefing on our new deep dive research centered on the financial services sector. In today's conversation, we will be spotlighting something that's particularly prevalent in the financial services area, phishing as a service. My name is Julie Vickery-Kirsten. I am the Global Events and Marketing Manager here at Trustwave and will be your host. I'd like to quickly go over a few housekeeping items so you can get the most out of today's session. If you are viewing this session live, our webinar platform allows you to customize your viewer screen. Feel free to adjust the size and positioning of the different windows to accommodate your liking. We do recommend that you use Chrome as the browser of choice. If you have any problems with the audio or the session delivery, I always recommend that you hit refresh. You will not need to relog in, and the system should overcome any connectivity issues. Today's webinar will include both a presentation and a question and answer session. You will find the questions window in your webinar screen, and we will encourage you to enter the questions as you think of them throughout the presentation, and we will address as many as possible at the end. Lastly, today's presentation will be recorded, and we will be sending a follow-up email to everyone with a link to that recording. A copy of the recording will be made available on demand on our website for future reference as well. Before we dive in, I would like to welcome our security expert who will be presenting today, Carl Sigler. Carl is a Senior Security Research Manager for Trustwave Spider Labs. He and his team are responsible for threat intelligence, responsible disclosure, IDS signature development, and editing of the Spider Labs blog. Carl has worked professionally in information security for more than 25 years. Without further ado, let's get started. Carl, over to you.
Thanks, Julie. Man, you make me sound old with that, but I'll take it. Good day, everyone. Yeah, like Julie said, we're going to be talking about phishing as a service. This is part of a larger series of threat reports that we've been putting together, and this is the new one that just came out this month. So last year we did a series of industry-specific threat reports where we dive down sectors like retail, hospitality, financial services. So we've done an update to that original threat report this year, and we divided it into 3 individual reports. A primary report that does focus on those unique challenges to the financial services sector, and then 2 additional supplementary reports, one that's covering the insider threat and the other is covering phishing as a service. And we're going to be talking about that last one, phishing as a service, today. You can access all of these reports directly from our website. That QR code there should take you right there. Be careful of QR codes, though. This one's safe, but be careful scanning QR codes. We'll see that in just a little bit. But yes, you can get the entire series if you'd like, including the report that this actual webinar is based on. So what is phishing as a service? This is your typical cybercrime as a service. We used to have exploit kits as a service. We have ransomware as a service, malware as a service, credential cracking as a service, and more. Phishing as a service is just an extension of that business model. What criminals do is they set up an infrastructure that allows other cyber criminals to pull off specific types of attack, whether it's ransomware or, in this case, phishing. It serves a sort of a twofold benefit for the criminals. One, the criminals that are in charge of the infrastructure are a step or 2 away from the actual crimes being committed, right? So they're providing the tools necessary to commit these crimes without committing the actual crimes themselves. Crime very easy for those that might not be that well versed. And in this case, the entire service that is being offered has to do with crafting phishing emails that will actually get a target to click on a link, open an attachment, and install some sort of malware on the system itself. So the way PAS works, they, like any other business model, have various subscription levels. Do you want Amazon Prime with commercials, or for a little bit more, you can pay for it without commercials? PAS works the same way. So phishing as a service, there are multiple tiers that you can subscribe to. And each individual service has their own subscription tiers, just like every streaming service or any other service you might use also probably has different tiers. This could be entry level, where it's maybe just $10, $20 a month. This could also fit an enterprise, a criminal enterprise that's very, very massive. So they have different tiers. If you're just getting started in crime, hey, they got you covered for like $40 a month, $5 a month. If you have an entire enterprise, you already have victims, you just want to sort of expand your attack vectors, they got you covered too. You can see some of the price points here. LabHost, which was recently taken down by law enforcement, good deal. They had a basic monthly subscription of $179 a month. The Onyx platform, so Onyx is another phishing-as-a-service platform. They're charging $400 a month, but that comes with MFA bypass or grabbing. So we can grab MFA tokens, things like that, or intercept the MFA process that hopefully a lot of organizations have set up. So again, you have to imagine that if criminals are paying $400 a month for this service, maybe at the top end, how much are they pulling in revenue to make that worth their while? It's been thought of a lot, and these platforms are not going away anytime soon. So it's pretty obvious based on this that they're very, very successful at what they do. The screenshot there to the right is the one based on Raccoon O365. Which is kind of a play on MS365 or M365. Good. And just like any other service, there's a bunch of different options and features available to you, depending on which service you decide to go with. So you'll probably try and vet a bunch of these services to figure out which phishing-as-a-service will fit your needs. Phishing templates is the primary feature you're going to find in pretty much all of these phishing-as-a-service platforms. This gives you templates that craft the phishing emails, the phishing campaigns for you. This could have specific corporate logos in it. It could have specific signature types, things like that. So it just makes it easier for you. You're not just starting from scratch with a blank page and trying to craft an email. There's templates that'll make it easy for you to do what you're trying to do. Are you trying to capture Google credentials? You might need a phishing template that handles Google, Microsoft, Apple, Cloud, you name it. Again, these templates are going to help you get a head start on all of that. In a similar fashion, website cloning and generation tools. If I want you to believe that you're logging into, say, Trustwave's website, I could actually clone Trustwave's website, direct you there, and then when you get prompted for authentication, hopefully you think you're trying to log into actual Trustwave's website. In the meantime, I'm capturing your credentials on the back end. Usually this was done as a manual process. I would use some sort of tool to basically suck down all the content or crawl all the content for Trustwave's main website and then rebuild it on my own as that landing page. Pause makes it easy for you. Dashboards and reports, that's actually that screen capture over on the right a little bit. This actually shows you how well your campaigns are doing. So they'll give you a dashboard to show you how many phishing emails you have out, how many have been opened, how many have been clicked on, who has been hooked by them, who hasn't. You can do A/B testing with your phishing templates. You name it. Everything is there for you. You can run reports for the head of your crime department, whatever that might be. MFA bypass, we already talked about that. Again, multi-factor authentication. This is where it's not just a password, but hopefully a secondary form of authentication, whether it's a SMS text, whether it's an authentication app, or whether it's a hardware token of some sort. For the minimal ones, the ones that actually prompt you with a code or prompt you with an SMS text, it can be bypassed quite a bit, either using MFA fatigue attacks, or just intercepting, depending on what sort of MFA it is, the token that gets issued out. All this is possible, and again, pause makes it easy for you. Advanced attack emails are not targeting the human behind the keyboard. That's generally what we think of phishing as. It's a social engineering attack that targets that person behind the keyboard. But sometimes that's not the goal. Sometimes the goal is to actually install malware, and malware installed not by a user clicking on something, but just based on a vulnerability on the system. So if I say I'm running Outlook as my primary mail client, and there's a massive zero-day vulnerability in Outlook, I could send an email to everybody running Outlook and just trigger that vulnerability to get access to that system without having to interact with an actual human being. You want to keep these up to date, because as soon as 0 days, as soon as exploits come out for vulnerabilities, they get very quickly patched and people put the patches on. So you want to hit that sweet spot, again, as a criminal, of using these exploits before they actually get patches deployed. Really good PAWS platforms may have those 0 days waiting for you, and it may tempt you to go to one platform like Onyx as opposed to, say, Top Market. or tycoon. Obfuscation techniques are extremely important. These days, our phishing filters or phishing identification tends to be very, very good. So phishers will obfuscate their payload, obfuscate what's in the email itself to try and fool those security controls. Once the email is opened on the client side, all that obfuscation gets decoded and the actual attack gets presented to the internal user. But obfuscation is a way to bypass security controls like secure email gateways. Step-by-step tutorials and dedicated support. You're getting a POS platform because you probably don't have a lot of phishing experience, or you don't have an internal criminal team that does this for you. They're going to walk you through it. They have step-by-step YouTube tutorials. They have 24/7 tech support. You can hop on a chat, secure Tor chat, and talk to their support staff to find out what you're doing wrong and why you can't launch this phishing campaign that you're going to get that are going to tempt you to one platform or another. And just like any business vertical, these platforms are competing with each other because in the end, what they're doing is they're taking a cut of the money that you exploit out of these victims. So these are some of the platforms you're going to see out there. These are the most popular platforms right now. But this is constantly changing. The first one there, LabHost, we've seen. Luckily, due to international law enforcement, LabHost was taken down. So they are not the most popular character anymore. And we tend to see this quite a bit in all spaces, whether it's ransomware as a service, phishing as a service, et cetera. One player will tend to get extremely popular because of some feature they have that others don't have, ease of use possibly, new exploits. And once all the attention is drawn to that one actor, law enforcement gets involved, or they could be their own worst enemy and internal bickering and fighting gets involved. The group shuts down, and now other groups try to fill that void. So that's what's going on with LabHost right now. You have Well, Caffeine. These are all very, very common. I think probably the three we'll be talking about the most, or the three that we tend to talk about the most in our blog posts are Onyx, ONNX, the Tycoon 2FA, which is very, very popular, and then Raccoon 0365. But really, any of these could be beneficial. Greatness, we did a big spotlight on a couple of months ago, also very popular. Some phishers want to use a less popular platform so they're not drawing attention to themselves. So maybe, depending on what your profile is, you want to go with a lesser known POS platform for your services and hope they don't pop up the stack as others get taken down. So this is a phishing example of Tycoon. This is the email that you would get out of the Tycoon platform. So I've decided to launch a phishing campaign. The phishing campaign is going to have a PDF attachment to the email, and in that PDF is going to be a QR code. So I'm luring the victim to open up the PDF and then to scan the QR code. Now, QR codes are being used quite a bit in phishing attacks these days for the other reason we mentioned earlier, obfuscation. So if your secure email gateway or your endpoint detection and response or anti-malware components, if that software cannot decode QR codes and then figure out if the URL beneath them is malicious, this type of attack is going to bypass your security controls. So I've got a QR code here. If I can convince the victim to scan the QR code, it's going to lead him to a credential capturing page. While it's doing that, it's capturing as much information as it can from your browser, cookies, session tokens, etc. And then it's going to redirect you to first a free CAPTCHA, which really lends a lot of trust, a lot of credence to this being valid, right? So if we see a CAPTCHA and then we get prompted for a password rather than just going straight to the password screen, it just feels more authentic to the potential victim. So once the CAPTCHA is cleared, going to be presented screen because we're going to try and grab Microsoft credentials. All those credentials are going to be fed back to your dashboard, and you can print it out in a nice PDF report. So common phishing themes and attachments. There are many different types of phishing messages. A lot of the ones we see, they're trying to do, their end goal is to get the victim to either open up an attachment or click on a link. And the way they do this is usually by impressing upon them specific urgency. This has to be done now. and making sure that they feel like they have some sort of skin in the game. Account and password-related alerts. These are very, very common in phishing attacks. Your password expired. You're about to get completely locked out of the system. And with new auditing, we'll have to disable your account for a week before you're allowed back into the system. And you're going to have to explain that to your team. So go ahead and click on this link and reset your password now before you get locked out. Again, urgency and something that is personal to the recipient. HR communications. We've had a complaint about your activity or maybe a complaint about one of your team members. Click on this link to find out about the complaint so we can go ahead and schedule a meeting with HR. Email alerts with document sharing, e-signature platform. So maybe a business partner sends you a PDF, often with a invoice, a monthly invoice for all the services you've used. Well, if that's a known entity, the phishers could piggyback on top of that to send you emails pretending to be that business partner. It's somebody you already trust. It's an attachment that you're already expecting. You open it up, and the phisher gets what they want. Miscommunications is also very common. Hey, I tried to call you. I have a really urgent thing to discuss. Please call me ASAP. Or miscommunications can get a person onto a phone, in which case we can start doing social engineering attacks directly that way over the phone rather than you'll also see this with missing packages, especially around holiday seasons, towards the end of the year, beginning of the year. You'll see a lot of, we tried to deliver this package. Unfortunately, we were not able to. Please click here to reschedule your delivery. Right? These are all things that are going to get that victim to click on a link or open up an attachment. For the attachments, there are two primary attachments that we see the most, HTML being number one, followed by PDF or exe. This was not always the case. In fact, this has really only been the case for about the past 18 months or 24 months, 2 years. Prior to September of 2022, carrier, the primary attachment for malware. And that was because of macros. So I can send you an Excel spreadsheet or a Word document that has a macro installed that will do everything I need it to do. I just need to convince you to turn on macros, which is also depending on who your victim is. Microsoft blocked macros coming outside of your network completely by default in September of 2022. And the criminals needed to change their tactics. So they moved over to HTML, and not directly, but slowly they found they were getting a lot more success with HTML versus other attachments. The reason this is that a lot of people trust HTML as an attachment. They don't even think twice about it. They think of it as maybe a text file. You probably got emails where the original email was rich text with this really graphic signature. And your mail server took that signature off and it added it as an HTML attachment in case you wanted to see what it looked like, right? We're expecting this almost. And this gives, again, sort of a level of trust that makes it a very useful vector for HTML files. They can include scripting pointers, JavaScript, Visual Basic script. They can also so you can actually embed your bit code in the HTML file. And then when the HTML file is opened, the scripting will recreate all of that code and drop an executable and run an executable on that workstation. Sometimes they'll cut to the chase or just go to an executable. PDFs as well. People are still opening up PDF files despite the fact that they have scripting functionality and despite the fact they're so commonly used in these types of phishing attacks. So HTML, PDF, definitely exe. Do not open these attachments unless you're expecting the attachment specifically. And even then, you may want to verify out of band. So mitigations. How can we prevent this in our organizations? Advanced training and awareness programs are an absolute must. I'm sure that many of your users are getting sick of the security awareness training that they have to do every year, but it's essential. 95% of all compromises occur via phishing or social engineering attacks. They're targeting the humans because humans are a lot harder to patch than software. So you need to get involved with your humans as well. Make sure that your team members, your employees, the people working at your organization, and this includes contractors and suppliers as well, that they feel like they have skin in the game. They feel like they need to protect the data that they've been entrusted with, and they know how to spot attacks that are trying to get them to do something that they wouldn't normally do. It's important to keep this training up to date and constantly modify it to current risks and threats. For instance, AI has been a huge game changer in the phishing field. A lot of our red flags for phishing emails used to come from poor grammar, poor spelling, just wording that sounds a little bit clumsy, indicating that perhaps the phishers were English as a second language, or maybe didn't understand English as fluently as you might as a native speaker. With AI, this is going away. A lot of phishing tools embed AI directly in it, and you have AI accessible to you from all kinds of various angles. And I can use AI to make sure that my phishing email sounds as fluent and as native as any native speakers would. So those red flags are going away, and your users need to know this so they can spot proper phishing attacks. Email filtering and analysis, setting up a email gateway either as a part of your mail server or in front of your mail server can help quite a bit. What it's going to do is it's going to inspect all email coming through to the mail server for any malicious content and strip that content out. If you can strip out malicious content before it even gets to your user's inbox, you're doing a great job in breach layer of security. Regular audits and simulations. You want to do regular audits of your mail server, permissions, access control lists, who has access to what. Are you using MFA? Is anyone not using MFA that needs to be added to it? So audit your systems and do simulations. This, I think, sort of ties into the training program, but do phishing simulations. Emulate a phishing attack internally and see how many of your staff click on it, how many of your staff open it. These sorts of things will help you pin down problem areas that you can address. Collaboration and intelligence sharing is a must. Even 10 years ago, it was very hard to find other actors, even other vendors in your industry sector that were willing to share threat or risk information with you. The best you had was probably Patch Tuesday, and then monitoring Twitter, Reddit, maybe some other social networks for news. This is going away. We're finding that not only are we able to see a lot more of the internet as an individual organization and able to process that thanks to technology advances, the ability to crunch a lot of data, the big data databases that we have now. And it also makes that data more valuable if you're sharing it. So a lot of organizations want to share their data because they want to see what you're seeing. They want a collaborator and a partner in this risk reduction. So find out who in your industry, in your field, whatever you're working in, find out who else is sort of facing this. Work with them. Share intelligence feeds, share tips and tricks. You use for news, maybe they'll provide news resources that you didn't even think of before. This includes threat intelligence sharing with threat intelligence feeds, providing your own internal feeds, and then partnering with other groups that are providing feeds either for commercial purposes or for free. There are a lot of open source feeds out there that can give you a better understanding of what's going on in the internet right now. We talked a lot about MFA, multi-factor authentication. Hardware-based authentication can help out a lot here. These are a token-based authentication. You may know YubiKey, Secure ID. These are just small little hardware tokens. They plug into your USB port or they're an internal computer that just generate a code on a regular basis, a unique random code on a regular basis, random but predictable, so it's not random. Anyway, hardware-based authentication, those token-based authentication solutions do take out a lot of the attacks that are currently targeting MFA. Bypass MFA if you're using text messages as that second factor by just doing a SIM swap type attack and stealing the person's phone that they want, or social engineering them into providing that additional token, or do what we call MFA fatigue, where you just keep on sending the MFA code over and over and over again to the user so that they think there's some sort of bug in the system and they finally just say to heck with it and click OK. Hardware-based tokens get around this problem, but they can be a lot harder to manage and a lot harder to deploy. So definitely make sure you take that into consideration. And finally, layered email security. Again, it's not just one layer of security that you're looking for. We want to layer these so that if threat actors get through one layer of our security, there's another layer waiting to catch them. So having your security awareness training, extremely important, should not be your only security control. Having, in addition to security awareness training that's ongoing and updated, a secure email gateway in front of your mail server, now you're sort of layering things. If you have endpoint detection and response, EDR, anti-malware on your layer of detection there, another layer of security. So if the email gateway does not find the malicious email, and our security awareness training has not provided enough skills for the recipient to not open the email, so they open up the email and they open up the attachment, then hopefully that third layer of protection, the EDR, the anti-malware running on the workstation, will capture whatever was malicious in that email ahead of time. So again, you want layers of security, and this is going to change from organization to organization. It's going to be what makes sense for your business model and protecting the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the data that you need. Good. And with that, I think we'll take some questions.
All right. Now, I don't want anyone to adjust their audio. Our original moderator, Julie, did not just come down with a horrible sore throat and now sounds like this, but had some technical difficulties. So I, Doug Olenek, our digital content marketing manager here at Trustwave, just going to hop in real quick and help end the program with a couple of questions from the audience. So, well, maybe I have the cold. Gosh. All right, Carl, first question. Is there a way to detect is there a way to detect if generative AI is in phishing yet?
Oh, we know it's in phishing. So generative AI, the chat GPTs, the AI that I've been talking about, it's absolutely being used as part of the phishers toolkit right now. A lot of the platforms that phishers use to push out these emails, including all the past platforms that we've been talking about, have AI embedded into them just to make it that much easier. So yeah, 100% AI is helping the phishers, but AI is also helping us on our side of the coin. We're here at Trustwave. We've been training a machine learning module for identifying phishing and spam emails for the past 3 years. It's gotten to the point where it is over 99% effective at spotting malicious emails with almost 0% false positive rate. So AI is also helping us on the good guy side as well. It seems to be an equal opportunity tool at this point anyway.
All right. Our next question. Are there any groups, and I'm thinking they mean law enforcement perhaps, trying to take down these phishing-as-a-service entities at this time?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Law enforcement is not sleeping on this threat. Like I said, Top Host has already been taken down by law enforcement. And we're finding, especially over the past 5 years or so, that international law enforcement is getting a lot better at coordinating activities with each other, sharing information, sharing the proper information, building up those personal connections and networks that allow them to implement with great speed. So we've seen this with Top Host, and law enforcement is getting a lot better at doing this. We also saw it recently with a couple of ransomware as a service groups. So yeah, the law enforcement is really getting on the ball, especially in the past 5 years, and I would expect to see that to improve even more as we, again, build those relationships and get a lot more experience on those teams of how to identify where these systems are and how to take them down.
All right. Okay, with that answer, I think we've reached the end of our time here. As a reminder, I just wanted to tell everyone, you will be receiving a copy of the webinar recording via email by the end of this week, along with a link to download the briefing itself. If you're interested in learning more about today's topic, you can submit a request by clicking on the email icon at the bottom of your screen. And I would now just like to thank Carl for his time and dedication, giving all this great information to us, and to thank everyone else for attending today. We'll see you soon at another Trustwave webinar.
Thanks, everybody.